things are difficult, I'm reminded that although it feels like we're never going to get out, that God has promised.
Yes, sir.
God has promised.
Yes, He is.
And I don't believe
Bless Him, Lord.
that God is in the business of breaking God's own promises. So why, the song asks, why would God start with us?
Amen.
Do you know what the answer is? No. Do you know where you're going to get the money to pay the bills? No. Do you know what's the outcome of this diagnosis? No. Do you know how you're going to do it? No. And beloved, stand firm knowing that God is not in the business of breaking God's promises to us. God is not in the business of abandoning God's children. God is not in the business of bringing us this far to have just brought us this far. So I don't know what you need this morning. I don't know what's going on this morning. But love it. But I know. This is what I know. I know that they who wait on the Lord. I know that they who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not grow weary. They shall walk and they shall not faint. If you wait on the Lord. Here's what I know, beloved. I know that there are folks right now in this space, maybe out there, who feel like they've reached the end. Maybe you feel like, God, you have way too much faith in me. I can't do it anymore. Fine, I get it. You've reached your end. And somebody told me that faith begins when we reach the end of our common understanding. I'm reminded, beloved, that although life comes and does what life does, I'm reminded that although life isn't full all of the time with just up here and joy,
That's right.
I'm reminded that in suffering, I'm reminded that in suffering, we can find glory. I'm reminded
Thank you, Lord.
that in suffering, maybe suffering for doing what we know is right, for standing on our faith, for standing firm on the gospel of Christ, it feels like, God, I'm doing everything that I know to do. I'm doing what you told for me to do. Why? Why did you leave me? Is this because I've failed you? Oh, beloved, I'm reminded that in suffering, Peter tells us that the afflicted church is not the abandoned church just because you're going through something. It doesn't mean that God has turned God's back on you just because it feels bleak, minister. It doesn't mean that you've been abandoned. No, beloved, we are in a world that is fallen. We are in a world where bad things happen, and that doesn't always feel good, and I am reminded, beloved, friends, when life gets difficult, don't jump to the conclusion that God isn't on the job. The message says, instead be glad that you are in the very thick of what God experienced. This is a